This was a thought process with which the two founders, Gaurav Patankar and Amit Rajpal, who are the two founders for Niyogin Fintech Limited, came with a fantastic idea saying that how do we build a complete digital ecosystem which will start with SME lending through complete end-to-end digital paperless through using platformication, and then eventually create the ecosystem extended to the partners across BFSI. So begin with SME lending, which is core and the critical part today for the entire country and for all the BFSI sector. And how do you use and leverage and capitalize the same platform across various other sectors in BFSI? So when you create the complete architecture, you have the complete platform, and when you go with a platform-based approach, your lending is just one business in the BFSI. Then how do you get the lending through your existing partner network, get the wealth management program through the same platform? How do you get the insurance network to the same platform? And you have one customer coming to your platform digitally, and you give him the entire ecosystem across BFSI. So that is the whole idea in terms of how do we go with the 4 to 5 years of a roadmap. And the beginning started with the complete evaluation of platform. So the clear understanding about the platform was how we build a digital lending platform, and that's how Liferay came into the picture, because the presentation layer becomes very critical. So presentation layer becomes very critical from the engagement perspective, because the moot point here was digitization, paperless, and how do you make it engaging both for partners and customers, so that you build an ecosystem where your partner comes in with a digital ecosystem, with a digital framework, and onboard the customers with an hybrid model, and eventually convert the customers into the digital framework as well. So that was the philosophy through which we completely started. And we had a great collaboration that we did in the presentation layer with Liferay as a team and with the implementation partner as InfoAxon. More to give, there was a conscious decision also we took that we wanted to be listed in BSE, because that's a nice way to represent ourselves in the market as well, apart from what we are doing in digitization. So there are two ways. One, you have an NBFCs to be built in. Either you go silent with private and private equity funding. The second way to go is publicly go and announce yourself and be publicly available on what digitization you're doing and how your organization is performing and contributing towards the SME lending. The transformation journey for Niyogin Fintech was very critical. So what we did first was we sat onto the drawing board and we understood what kind of an architecture that we need to build in. So first we understood the business requirement and we had the business architecture in place. When we had the business architecture in place, it was somewhere around 10 p.m. in the night. I thought, we understand the business very well of lending. We've been into the BFSI sector for the last 20 plus years. So the first thing we did was, how do we transform the component that you require for the entire partner to come through the flow, the business flow, and the customer to come to the business flow. Then went the finalization about the partners and the platformication. So that's how we thought through on how do we go about. So it was the architecture. Business architecture converted into technology architecture, and then finalizations of platformications which we wanted to use across these 4 years. And while doing this evaluation, we also had partners. So we never had the platform organization coming and only presenting it to us. We also called for the partners, multiple partners who came and presented not only their capability, also they came out with an understanding of their capability of understanding the platform well. Because many times it happens that you are in the right platform, but if the partner's capability is not in the right skill on the platform, you'll end up blaming the platform, but actually it's a combination of both. At the same time, you might have a wrong platform and a right partner. So we ensure that we have a right platform and a right partner in place, and that's one of the key reasons why we were able to identify, execute everything in 6 months' time. So what we did in 6 to 7 months' time, the first 3 months was complete focus on building the partner network. So we had our website built in. We had our complete digital partner onboarding built in the first 3 months' time, and then we started going to the market to get our partners. So how our partners are? Our partners are purely chartered accountants. One of the founders, Gaurav Patankar, had a network of 3i. He has created a network of 3i over a period of 30 years, along with his father who has 40 years of experience. So 3i is the first focus for us. They are the list of chartered accountants whom they have built in cash management services over a period of 30 years. We onboarded them digitally. So as of now, I am speaking, we are talking about a digitally onboarding partner, which you saw in the video. We just take 3 or 4 documents. We take Aadhaar, PAN card, we take check copy. The partner is completely digitally onboarded. Data ingestion comes from the backend through KYC, validations, and from the Aadhaar database, and the partner is onboarded within 3 minutes time. As of today, we have got 250 partners who have already onboarded onto the system. And then we went with a journey where we completely built the digital lending organization across these 4 layers: the presentation layer, the data layer, the architecture layer, the core layer, and the API layer. All these 4-5 layers we built it, and then we had the customer onboarding done. So we have onboarded and piloted with 50 plus customers in SME segment, and we have a target of going around building an AUM of around 150 crores this year, which should be with an average ticket size of 2 lakhs to 30 lakhs. So the focus is on the segment of unsecured business loan for SME, for which how does this platform scale? So when you say that you're going to onboard so many partners, 250 partners in 3 months' time, and you're going to onboard so many customers, which means the stability of the platform is important. So not only the platform, but also the infrastructure layer becomes very critical. So we are claiming ourselves to be, and we are sure about this while we are claiming this, that we are India's first paperless digital lending organization, and we are the first organization which is completely on secured public cloud. So I'll talk about what we meant by secured public cloud. Why Liferay DXP? Like I said, that we had 26 applications that we had integrated and more than 42 APIs over a period of 7 months' time. Out of this, one of the core critical layer is the presentation layer, because this is a layer where the partner engages with us and the customer engages with us. And during this layer finalization, we had at least 3 or 4 platforms which we had evaluated simultaneously. So one of the critical platform was Liferay. We had Siphinity, we had the most preferred platform by everyone from Microsoft, which is a SharePoint. We had a detailed evaluation of 150 parameters across various features that we wanted for business. So this evaluation was not only technical evaluation, but it was business evaluation. Why it was a business evaluation? Because we believe that beyond a point in time, we want the platform to be used by the business users, and we don't want the control to be retained by the IT. Which means, which is a platform which can be a digital lending platform where the CMS control is with the business users. When they want to bring their add-on UI UX design, which they can add on pages, they can run their marketing campaigns, they can hook on and use our APIs and integrate it backend with the CRMs and other integration layers. So how do you enable and empower the business? So out of the 150 parameters, there were critical parameters beyond technology, where we looked at it from the perspective of the document management system, the DMS layer, where the storing of documents and retrieval becomes critical. We looked at it from content management system from the marketing. And that's how we finalized with Liferay DXP. It was an evaluation that we did for at least 4 weeks' time. And it was a grilling evaluations for all the platform players along with the partners whom we had shortlisted. We also focused on the microservices architecture capability of Liferay. The reason being, we are able to claim today that it's 42 APIs, and we wanted to integrate it through using the microservices architecture using Node.js. We had few developers in-house as well to develop this, and most of the developers were from the partners. 7 months time we went live. The credit goes of course to the partners, because we engaged the partners on 4 critical layers. The presentation layer, the microservices layer, which is the API which integrates with all the 42 APIs, and the critical layer was the infrastructure layer. So when you have control on these 3 layers, your complete execution becomes much more faster, because the person who is creating your presentation layer with UI UX understand that how does it flow across various other applications, because the data points becomes critical for integrations and interactions. And the most important part is how does the sustainable infrastructure is built for making this journey much more robust, digital, and available in 2 zones, both zone 1 and zone 2. We don't believe in the concept of DR, we believe in the concept of active. So we have gone with the Liferay within zone 1, zone 2, active. All our technologies that we have used are open source technology. And there was a question I heard in the morning that it's becoming very difficult to convince the enterprise to go for an enterprise license for DXP. In my case, or in most of the CIO case, it's much more easier, because when you're a listed NBFC and you're audited by RBI, and when you're subject to the internal audits, the first question that comes from the auditor is, if it's an open source platform, what kind of a support you get it? And it becomes even more important, and the comfort level increases for us when we go for a platform which is not only open source but also has got an enterprise support. One, it gives comfort level to your stakeholders who are beyond technology, who have limited knowledge of technology, but who always ask you a question whether you have a sufficient support to sustain, because it becomes critical for them, because they come from the governance and from the regulatory perspective. So it's not tough to convince the CIOs in today's world that you need to go for an open source with an enterprise support. So be rest assured. As far as he understands the criticality of the availability, it's much more easier to do that. User experience was quite critical, because end of the day, what your partner experienced during that 3 minutes of onboarding is what he decides to further engage with you and bring your customers. We had partner engaged for the UI UX, and Fractal was the partner whom we had engaged with, and they had a deep understanding about what this platform is all about. One of the critical criteria why we engaged with this partner is we wanted to know whether the partner has got the deep understanding about Liferay as a platform. Because in many cases it happens that when a partner has a limited understanding, especially the UI UX partner about the Liferay, your system integrator partner might be very good. But if it doesn't gel out with the architecture of the Liferay, and the moot point is you won't be able to deliver what you want to deliver. So we ensure that we have a partner who understands our depth knowledge about the platform with this Liferay, so that the UI UX goes seamlessly along with the platform and you can leverage on the out-of-box functionality. The most important thing is how do you get, when we launched it in 3 months of time, we had this capability available both in web and mobile. So you could onboard the partner, you had your website available in a responsive design, both in web as well as mobile. Of course, for partner onboarding, apart from partner onboarding, the second was customer onboarding, which we went with mobile first as an approach, because we believe that we wanted to bring the tag of India's digital lending organization paperless with mobile first approach. So that's what we achieved. Working with the experience with Liferay was very important and critical, because at point in time when you go with a speed and agility of 6 to 7 months of time to go live, and when you go with a design element which is unique and different in the industry, and when you want to hit it with integration 42 APIs and apps, 26 apps which are available, it might happen that you might have an issue at the data layer, at the UI layer, and at that point in time when you are leveraging more onto the out-of-box functionality, you require the core enterprise support from the Liferay. And that's the reason why we had a great experience, because wherever we felt that we needed their expertise, it's not only that when we hit the issue, it's also when we want to leverage their expertise where we worked on to them. The uniqueness about what we did in the Liferay is we not only leveraged the out-of-box functionality, not only we leveraged the DMS capabilities of Liferay, we also brought in a new functionality called as microservices, so micro sites. All our partners, 250 partners who are onboarded to this platform, has got a capability that once they are onboarded, they have got their own microsites within our own website. So they can utilize this microsites to publish this to their client and promote their activities to their client about Niyogin and their personal activity as well, with a limited access, controlled access to the CMS, to the extent to which they can expose the content out there with a control from the administrator right now in the beginning from the Niyogin. And then once the partner understands on how to use this platform, there will be enough amount of leverage that will be given to him. So this is something unique that we created and leverage as microsite creation. And we had to take a lot of help from Liferay out here, because the out-of-box functionality of Liferay for microsite is in the roadmap. And I think in next couple of months it's getting released. And that's where we'll be able to exponentially leverage the out-of-box functionality of Liferay. For the system integrator, InfoAxon, they've done a fantastic job, and one of the critical challenges which I gave to them is I ensured that they're using the out-of-box functionality maximum, and there is a minimum customization and coding that is done. And I'm happy to see that they have subjected themselves to an audit to this particular implementation, and we have ensured that it has gone as per the roadmap that we want. This is a high-level architecture, just to give you a flavor of what we built in. So if you see, the engagement layer is what we call as a presentation layer in the technical grounds. So engagement layer was the partner portal, the website, and we had the corporate website launched as well. Apart from that, we had the loan origination that we have launched through a mobile app. We use the Ionic platform for that, but we are eventually going to migrate this to the mobile capability of Liferay as well. Our intranet portal is going to be through Liferay, and our future engagement platforms for our collections and other capabilities are also going to be through the Liferay mobile app capabilities which are available. So we want to restrict these things into complete ecosystem. Like I said, in this presentation layer becomes a critical engagement layer, because we want to extend this beyond lending. Eventually we'll have our wealth management, mutual funds, life insurance, all other platforms getting plugged and play. And we wanted to create an ecosystem for the entire SME segment, where we create and leverage the future roadmap of Liferay on the commerce engine and get the buyers and sellers in the form of an SME, where we do the fulfillment, gather the data, put it in the ODS layer, and do even analytics, and also help them not only in getting the working capital requirement, but we'll have the entire story of stickiness getting built on. We are going to have a lot of white label products which are going to be made available to the SMEs. So if most of the partners sitting out here, if you have any white label products available for the industries as an extended solutions, we can tie up and it will be available through our platform through Liferay, and they can subscribe and extend it, and we can work on the modalities. The object out here is, if a person comes to you, if a SME comes to you, how do we fulfill his lending requirement, his working capital requirement, his technological requirement, his day-to-day functioning requirement, and fulfilling his small things for which he has to depend on 10, 100 other things available in one platform to fulfill it. That is the core objective out here. One of the other important integrations that we did from day one in the presentation layer is we leveraged with a platform called a Smart Talk. It's from a partner called Smart Connect, and here is where we integrated the complete bots. So we are live with this platform in the Liferay along with the bots, and also with the chat capability both through the mobile and the web app as well. So today a partner wants to connect with us, he can come through web app, he can come through mobile app, he can come through WhatsApp, he can come through Facebook Messenger. So the channel integrations through this data layer also is being made possible, not only using the web and mobile but also through the other integrations layer. Apart from this, we also in the presentation layer we have given an extension of cloud-based voice-based facility in terms of support that is extended to partners as well as customers in terms of voice engagement that they can do in terms of inbound and outbound contact centers capability. The API layer played a very important role. We went with a conscious call of not going for a standardized product. So the entire decision was buy versus make. So we said the capabilities which are there from platform perspective, go for a buy. Areas where you can create your product IP, go for a make. So areas like API architecture, with the help of our partner InfoAxon, we took complete help of their architect and their developers, and we built the complete API through a Node.js, and that's how we integrated the presentation layer with all the below layers that you can look upon. When we did it 3 to 6 months ago, it was 42 APIs. Today we have got 65 plus APIs that are readily available. We have put the design in such a way that we have a complete identification of the architecture and reconsumption capability that is built into the API, so that you don't rebuild the APIs that are already existing in the entire components which are there. So cataloging is the method that we have used in terms of documenting and identifying for reusability. Core application layer, like I said, is plenty of them is available. As a fintech, it doesn't make sense if you want to go live in 6-7 months to build the entire LOS, LMS and CMS layer. So here is where we leverage with our partner called as Pennant, who is well known in the industry and who thinks with the new age thinking of building a digital platform and integrating with the digital platform with ready APIs. Apart from this, we had other platforms integrated, like we had Hunter APIs, which is fraud check. We had bureau connectors that was created through a single platform where 5 bureaus are integrated and connected through APIs. So none of the application speaks to each other directly. Everything is driven through the API. So that becomes easier for you to do plug and play, and when you want to switch over any other presentation layer, platform layer or any other platform and bring a new platform, the level of customization and changes is very minimal. The data is very easily it is being taken from the remaining platform, and the replacement becomes much more easier. One of the core advantage that we got by building this API is today when we have gone to the market and tying up with the external partners for lending, where you've got e-commerce platforms and we want the data analytics to come to us real time and extend the lending and do an interactions. These APIs are now straight away exposed through a catalog, and specific APIs are given, and the integration, it takes hardly 1 hour or 2 hours for us to expose our APIs, and we get integrated, and in a day or two we are live. So that is the power of capability, that when you have 26 applications and API driven, your agility and speed not only to connect within the application but also to the external partners and vendors available in the ecosystems becomes much more easier for business. So earlier in my experience, when business used to come, they used to do partnership, tie-up, and then the two tech team used to take minimum 3 months for discussions. So we have gone with an approach by saying no discussions. We have our APIs ready, we exposed our API, it's an API in a box. Please consume it, give us the data, we are live. So it's a reverse pressure that is there in business today, because of such kind of an architecture, digitization and partner ecosystem, where in 7 months tech is ready and the business has got the pressure to bring the business. And there's less of a noise in terms of saying that tech is not ready, so I can't bring my business. Important layer that we took a decision is the infrastructure and the database. We are into secured public cloud. When we say secured public cloud, we have ensured that the secured public cloud is there within the India region because of the regulation requirements. But it is seamlessly built, and the apps are available. All this 26 apps are available in both the data center, which is in Mumbai and Bangalore, and there is an pipe between both of them where the database has been replicated. Maximum architect across the world and across the industry came and told me that don't try to attempt this. This has been never done and this will never be successful. And the moment they said that, we took a conscious call. Our infrastructure partner is also InfoAxon. We took a conscious call that we will do it because no one has tried in the industry one, which means definitely there is a scope for creating a benchmark out there. We did it. We tied up with the open source enterprise support for Postgres. Our databases are Postgres and MongoDB, and we have successfully gone live with Zone 1 and Zone 2 with replication. And this is one more benchmark that we could create, that you can go with open source enterprise support technology and you can build Zone 1, Zone 2 real-time replications. I did ensure that I called all the architecture and discussed with them, not with an intention of saying that, look, we did it, with an intention that going forward in the market, when they go to the customers, they'll be able to leverage of what we have done and extend that support to other customers, rather than putting a sunk cost in a DR which is 40%.